Hello guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video we'll be building this simple project, which is a responsive navbar using Next.js and Tailwind CSS. Okay, this is the project demo, and as you can see, obviously this is a mobile view. So I am in my home page. I just have this, let's say, this logo type, whatever. It's just a piece of text, but it's where the logo normally is. And I have this menu button or hamburger icon button. I don't know how you want to call it. And when I press this button, I get my pages. From here I can navigate to one of these pages, like to my MERN page, to my Next.js page, to my React.js page. And then if I click here, I will be redirected to the home page. There you go. Let's just check this on a smaller mobile screen, like iPhone 5. So the same thing, I am in my root page, my home page, then I navigate to my Next.js page, and then I navigate to my React page, into my MERN page. The same as expected. Let's see how this looks on like a bigger screen, like this iPad Pro 11. As you can see now, the design for this responsive navbar has changed. Now the logo is right at the top, and I have the pages listed from left to right, and obviously I can still navigate through them. Okay, and just to finish this, let's see how it looks like on a MacBook Air. It's the same, of course, a little bit more room or padding, but it's pretty much the same. Logo at the top, pages listed from left to right. This can be a good option if you have a lot of pages. Okay. The project is responsive, as we just saw. So as you can see, it changes and adapts as expected. Okay, so this is what we are going to be building today, right? And this is where we left in our last video. This is just the boilerplate for Next and Tailwind. We didn't do anything else afterwards. So we are gonna continue right here. If you do not know how to create this, I will be linking last video in this video description, so you can go and check it. Then you come back and follow this tutorial. Okay, this won't be the perfect navbar. Okay, this is going to be a simple thing for a beginner to understand, and the point is for you to see a few things and then play with this code, change a bunch of Tailwind classes to see what it does, especially related to positioning the elements and all of that. We'll be also using two important things coming from Next.js, which are link component and image component. Okay, so it's important for you to know this. Okay, let's then just start our server. So I'm gonna first of all, of course, cd to my navbar, this folder right here, because I'm now here and I want to go there. Okay, and now that I'm inside the correct folder, I'm just gonna say npm run dev to start my development server. This is going to open on 3001 because 3000 is taken, because we are seeing the finished version. So what I'm gonna do is to actually close this one. I don't really need it, And if I want to see it, I can simply go here and say 3000, oops, localhost 3000, or I can switch it to 3001, where we'll be working. As you can see, this is what we have so far, the typical hello world. No worries. Let's start building this together. Okay. So let's see what we need. Okay, inside my Navbar folder, I'm gonna create my typical components folder. Inside this folder, let's go and create the navbar.jsx, because this is going to be my component. Okay. I know that you can use shortcuts for doing this, but I will be typing this out so you follow and understand the syntax a bit better and get familiar with the syntax. So I'm just gonna say function, okay, and then I'm gonna call it navbar. I'm gonna call it my navbar. As you can see, I'm using a different title, and this is my point. Okay, this is going to work. Okay, why am I doing this? I'm just showing you the possibilities. So if you use the shortcut, you will be creating your function with the name of the file automatically, but you can have a component name with a different name here. Doesn't have to be a match. Normally it is, normally you want it to be, but doesn't have to be a match. Okay, and this is why I'm doing it. A function always needs to return something, and typically what you want to do is to create an empty React fragment. Okay, navbar. What else? If you want to use your component somewhere else, and we are going to need to use this component somewhere else, you cannot forget to export it. So export default, and then the component's name. You can simply copy paste so you don't make a mistake. Sometimes it's the best way, or you can just type it out, of course. Okay, now I have my component in place, all good, all fine. Okay, good. I know that I'm gonna need pages. I'm gonna need pages. What pages am I going to be needing? This is simple. I'm gonna need like 3 pages. We saw that in our example. So 3000. So we're gonna need the React, Next, and Merge pages, right? Cool. So let's create that. Okay, let's do that right away. Inside pages, I'm just gonna say mern.jsx, and then yeah, it's in the correct place. next.jsx and react.jsx. You can say .jsx, you can say .js, doesn't really matter, to be honest. Okay, but typically what you want is inside your components you say .jsx and you put it inside a component. If it's a page, you can simply say .js. Some people say .js, some people say .jsx. .js, it's just to say this is JavaScript. .jsx, you know that you're using your component, you'll be mixing a lot of stuff. I don't know, people just prefer it. Both ways work, so there's no point to focus too much on that. Okay, Mern. What do we need to do? Once again, as I said before, I know that we could use shortcuts for this, but we are not going to use it. I'm gonna type it out. I'm gonna say export export default function, and I'm gonna call this one MERN page. Once again, I'm not using the same name as the file name, okay, on purpose. Okay, I could, but I'm not, on purpose, just to show you the possibilities, right? Once again, I know that I need to return something, and typically to start we have this empty React fragment, but this time I'm just gonna say this is my MERN page. Boom, this is my MERN page. Cool. I'm actually gonna do this a bit different instead of that, because I need to replicate this throughout many pages. I'm just gonna start with a div, and then inside my div I'm just gonna say my h1. I'm gonna paste it here, and I'm gonna try to align this all beautifully for you so you can really easily read what's going on. Okay, I'm just aligning things a bit. Okay, and I'm now, because we have Tailwind installed, I'm gonna start adding a bunch of Tailwind classes. So I want my screen of 100 VH, so full height, and in Tailwind you get that by adding this class right here. Then I'm gonna say flex. I want my items in the center. I want to justify to the center. I want font to be bold, text to Excel, and now this one is important. On a medium-sized breakpoint, and you should look at Tailwind's official documentation for these breakpoints. I'm using the medium-sized breakpoint, and I want to say that on that breakpoint I want to enlarge my text, my font size, to be for Excel instead of to Excel, the double basically. As you can see, if I hover on these classes I get this information, and you probably noticed it while I was typing. These classes were suggested to me. Okay, this happens because I have extensions inside Visual Studio Code that help me with this, and that is good. But keep in mind, as a beginner you need to know what the classes do. So yes, you can hover to see what they do. You can also use the suggestion, but you should be able to tell for the majority of the classes what they do. So you should type them out one by one after reading the documentation and after going through them and start playing with them. Okay, this is just an advice. Copy pasting will not take you too far. Okay, so margin X, so horizontally of 4, and I want to center align my text. Okay, this is my MERN page, and I think this is good. Let's see. So let's just test this out. MERN. I hope to have the title center it horizontally and vertically on my screen. Boom, there you go. Okay, now notice the following. There's no navbar, right? And we created a navbar, but we did not call the component anywhere. But we have 3 pages. Imagine that we had 20. Do I really want to import my navbar and call it manually and individually? No, I want to go to my app.js. I want to import. What do I want to import? Navbar, boom, from the components, and then I want to say that I want my navbar oh, oops, sorry, of course, my navbar in all the pages, and this is what you typically want. So now there you go, boom. And then I'm gonna just continue, just to show you the point. I'm just gonna copy paste this MERN into React, and then it's not going to be MERN, it's going to be React, and this is going to be React.js page, and I'm gonna copy paste one more time, and here I'm gonna say next, oops, sorry, next, and I'm gonna say next.js, and hide the typo right there. Okay, and now of course if I navigate to my other pages, like let's go to the root, boom, there's the navbar. Okay, let's go to React page, boom, there's the navbar, and the same goes for all the other pages like next. So this is my point. You create your navbar component and you call it at the root of your app, so you can only so it's easier for you to call it once, and then when you do an edit it's gonna be visible everywhere across your app. You don't have to go manually into each component page and change stuff. Of course, this is the point. You just use it this way, I think. We are not going to have a footer in this project, but if we add a footer, we will have it inside components. We will have the footer component next to this one, and we will go here. We will also import it, and we will place it right there. Okay, but we are not going to have it. Okay. Okay, I think this is good for the moment. I just created these pages really quickly because I want you to see this navbar. You create a component, you call it at the root, and you have it there for you. Okay, perfect. What else do we need to do? Okay, now we really need to start building our navbar per se, right? For that, I know that I will be using images that I haven't provided yet. So what I'm going to be doing is to copy paste basically the two images. I'm going to say copy into my public folder. Okay, you can place images inside the images folder. Sometimes people put the images folder inside the assets folder. There's plenty of ways of doing this, but because this is a very simple project, I just pasted inside the public folder. Okay. Oh, by the way, close icon, menu icon, or hamburger icon, whatever. Okay, what else do we need? Let's have a quick look on what we have. Okay, like it. Okay, so let's start building this navbar, I think. Yeah. Components, navbar, here we go. Now we are gonna start building stuff. Okay, I mentioned that we are going to be using the image component and the link component from Next.js. We also gonna need a hook to figure out when to show the hamburger icon and the close button icon. So let's import this. Okay, import. What do we want to import? Oops, no, image from what? From next image. I believe this is how the import is done, and then I'm just gonna copy paste this, and I'm gonna say link, and next link. Okay, Let's also import the hook that we need, which is the useState hook from React. Okay, so import useState. It's important to type it out correctly. Sometimes I don't, then it breaks. From where? From React. From React. There you go. So now we have the imports that we need. Okay. Okay. Let's start really working. So inside my component, but before my return, let's start our hook that we know that we're gonna need. So this is the basic syntax. Const. This is just the normal syntax, okay? And this const will have a variable and a function to update that variable. Set it equal to use state. Boom. This is the basic syntax. In here we need to give a variable. Can be anything, but we are dealing with a navbar, so obviously it's very logical to call it navbar. And we always start the update function with set and then whatever the variable name was. So set navbar. Okay. At the beginning, we do not want to show the hamburger menu icon or anything. So we are going to start it. We are going to set this variable to the boolean false. Okay. My computer is taking a while to do this saving. Maybe because I'm recording. Anyways, so I have it here, all good. I'm happy with this. Boom. So navbar. I'm gonna delete that. I'm gonna use a semantic HTML5 tag for the nav, which is called nav. I'm just gonna align these things a little bit better, so I think it's a bit easier. We don't really need this empty fragment anymore because we already have this nav that will contain all of our code, but I'm gonna leave it here, okay? Kind of as a reminder. So this navbar, I'm gonna start to give it a bunch of class names. I want the width to be full horizontally. I want to give it a background color, kind of a light gray background color. I want the padding horizontally to be 5, and I want the text to be white. Okay, these are Tailwind CSS classes that you can and must look up in the official documentation, right? Okay. Actually, I'm gonna get rid of this. We don't need it. So to make it a bit cleaner per se. Okay. Inside my navbar, now I'm gonna need a div, right? I'm gonna need a div. So div. This div, there you go. I'm always making this mistake. I say dir and not div. Div. Okay, there you go. Class name, it's going to be flex because I want to use flexbox. I want to say justify between. As you can see, there's all these options available to me because of the extensions that I'm using. Okay. Now I'm going to be using a breakpoint on a MD breakpoint. I want my padding vertically to be 5, and I also want to do a bunch of things. Okay, justify around. So I'm changing this a bit. Okay, MD align middle. You can, must, and should play with these classes because this is how you really see what affects what does what, okay? And sometimes you are playing with these classes, and unfortunately we end up forgetting removing classes, and that affects things or not. But this is how you really play with the classes. You test it, and then you figure out what's best for you, okay? As usual, I like to give comments to tell myself where I'm at. I think it's easier to read the code and for you to follow. So I'm just gonna say here, logo type. Quite obvious. This is how it should be, in my opinion, okay? And then I'm gonna need another div, right? Oops. Here I am inventing stuff. This is not what I should do. Oops. Caps lock still on. Okay. I'm gonna save, then I'm gonna say div. And now it's not going to work funny. Div, what about? Okay. Okay. Indent this a little bit. This div inside the other div. So I'm gonna give it a class name of. I also want to use flexbox, so the class flex, and then items center, and then justify center. There you go. And inside this div, I'm going to be using my link component from Next.js, because I want to turn this logo into a clickable logo. It's not going to be a real logo, it's just going to be H2 with a bunch of text, but you get the point. You normally would have like a logo. So JavaScript tools, it's the website name, just a fake website, doesn't really matter. So this H2 needs to have a bunch of class names, and I'm gonna call it text to Excel. Font, I want it to be bold, and on an MD breakpoint, so on a larger screen, I want my padding left to be 5. Once again, you need to play with these classes, okay? And now I'm gonna be wrapping the H2 with my link component from Next.js, as I said to you. There you go. And then if it's a link, needs to go somewhere, right? href, and I want to take it to the root. Okay, let's have a quick look to see. Okay, this is taking us to the correct place, and this is what we have so far. Nothing really impressive, but this is what we have. Okay, room. I'm just gonna copy this comment, put it right here. Of course, it's not logo type anymore because we are done with that. So it's going to be our mobile stuff. Okay, mobile. Let's go. Let's go. Let's keep doing this. Okay, so I'm gonna have like. It is important to place things inside the correct div, otherwise it will break and you don't really understand. So make sure that you're placing your divs inside the correct places. Sounds simple and logical, but we do this mistake all the time. Many people do it, including me. Sometimes I do that, okay? So on mobile, I'm basically gonna say I always want to show this div will contain the button, okay, that on click will perform something, okay, and I want to always make this button visible up to the medium size breakpoint where I want it to be invisible. I want to make it hidden. So all I'm gonna say it's MD hidden, so it's always visible but not on MD onwards. I'm gonna say padding Y of 8, And now I can create my button, just a HTML5 button that is going to take a class name of padding Y3, so padding vertically, and I want it to be rounded on MD. Okay, we are gonna need for this button, we have set our variable starting as false, and on click we want to invert whatever state the variable is. Either if it's true we say false on click, and the other way around. So I think we can just do that right now. No, I think so. So on click invent, on click, and notice that using on click in React and Next you need to capitalize the C. On regular JavaScript you don't. This used to confuse me a bit because I knew that I had it all good but was still not working because I made this small typo. Sometimes these typos are very, very annoying. Now I'm gonna call this variable to update this variable on click, okay? Because this is set to false at the start. Then I'm using a anonymous arrow function, and I'm gonna call my set navbar function, and I'm gonna say that I want to invert. I want to say navbar. So this is basically negating using, this is the comparison operator. I think you should check JavaScript comparison operators. Equal, not equal, blah, 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 whatever. Greater than, smaller than, whatever. You should Google something about JavaScript comparison operators, okay? Okay, and now inside this button, based on being based on the when the button gets clicked, it's gonna change from false to true to whatever it is. It's gonna be swapping, like toggling, but based on if it's true or false, we want to show a given image, the hamburger icon to open the menu or the cross icon to close the menu. So we need a bit of logic in here, okay? So we're gonna need actually a ternary operator in here, okay? So I'm gonna say navbar, oops, and this is just my variable inside my useState, okay? As you can see, this is always the same variable. If my navbar is true, if this is true, so if my navbar is open, what do I want to do? I want to show the close icon, okay? So I'm gonna use the image component from next, and this image component is not a self-closing tag. Sorry, it is a self-closing tag. Sorry, my mistake. Sorry, my bad. It is a self-closing tag. Okay, so image src, like any image needs src, and I'm gonna say close. What was the name? Close icon, hamburger icon, png. Okay, I think I got it. Close icon dot web p was this? I think so. Important thing and detail. Important detail. While using the image component from next, it is mandatory for you to use other attributes. Otherwise, it's gonna complain. So you need to use the width, the height, and the halt. So width, if I can, width. There you go. I'm just gonna use 30. Of course, you can and must play with these numbers. Okay, I'm just copy pasting the height. So width it's horizontal, height is vertical, and the halt you need to have it also for SEO reasons, and I'm gonna say just close icon button, whatever. This is complaining because we are not done. We started our ternary operator, but we haven't finished. So let's do that right away. So now we're gonna do the second bit of it, and I'm gonna need another image. There you go. Now because we finished our ternary operator, it's not complaining anymore, but we haven't finished it, and I made a mistake again. Okay, but we haven't finished the image component itself. Okay, I'm going to try to make it vertically so you can really read. So like the other one, src for source, the other one was burger icon. Hopefully this is the correct one, PNG. And I'm actually just gonna copy paste this. Okay. Of course you don't have to use the same values that I'm using. It's just an example. And the alt attribute is going to be menu icon button, whatever, menu icon button. Okay, let's see what we have so far. Okay, looks like we have an error. Okay, I am missing this. Okay, there you go. And then hey, woohoo, we click, it's changing. Okay, of course it's not, we haven't built the drop down menu per se, but when we click, the use state is working. So starts as false. So if I'm on a larger screen, I don't see it at all because I set it to be invisible on medium-size breakpoints onwards. But if I'm on a smaller screen, I do see the icon. Now the navbar is hidden. It is not finished, but it's hidden. And then when I click, it opens and it shows the close button. So this is the use state. Okay, not too bad. Okay, let's see. What else? I'm a bit lost here. This is going to be all inside my navbar. So I have my button, this div. Let's make a little bit of room to make sure that I'm placing things in the right place. Everything will be going inside the nav tag, HTML5 nav tag. So what do I need now? Now I really need to build the drop down area with the link, the nav links listed. Whew, I'm lost. Okay, let's carry on. Okay, so I'm gonna need this for now, like this. And now I'm gonna be adding a class name, but now I'm using once again a bit of logic to figure out to show, so or to show, to not show or to show. To show is a block level, or to set it as hidden. So now this class name, it's not going to be like any other class name is that we are just passing like Tailwind CSS class name is. No, it's not going to be like that. We need to apply a bit of logic inside the class name to decide what to do. Give it a block or a hidden. Okay, so we cannot use this syntax. Sorry, we cannot use this syntax. We need to use this, because with these curly brackets, let me just, with these curly brackets, we can write our logic inside. Okay, so I'm gonna say, now I'm gonna have to use a special strings, which are called string literals template strings, something like that. On a MD, MD, once again a breakpoint, I wanna say block, and then I need to, not this, I'm sorry. Whew, it's getting hard, eh? Cannot find. I have 3 different keyboards that I use frequently, so I'm always confused where to press. Okay, navbar, and I say if navbar it's true, I want to, basically if the navbar, the boolean that we defined in our useState is set to true, I want to show this area, so I set this to block. Otherwise, hide it. So it's false. If it's false, hide it. So we say hidden. Hopefully this explanation was good enough. Okay, so I'm using this variable if this is true, and this is the syntax that tells that, I want to display it. So I say block if this is false. So if it's not true, I want to be hidden. I want this to be hidden. Whew. Hopefully you got it. What do I need now? Now we need to go back to the basics of HTML. So you normally typically have all your links inside an ordered list. So UL tag, this is just HTML5 tag, and then class name, once again breakpoints, I'm gonna say auto, and then MD, I'm gonna say flex. The cursor, I want to be a pointer, so it's easier for the user to click, and to click pretty much in a bigger area and still be able to navigate. And I want the height to be screen, so pretty much the entire screen size vertically. Hopefully you're following. Let me have a look. Looks all good. I think I'm not forgetting anything. So all we have to do now is basically add our links in here. So once again, we need to use the link component from, hold on a second. Okay, yeah, all good. So link component is not a self-closing tag, as you can see, okay, but image component it is. This image component is like the equivalent to the A tag in HTML. Sorry, oh silly me. The link component, sorry. The link component is the equivalent to the to the A tag. I'm so lost right here. To the A tag, okay, in HTML, okay. And the image component, it's the img tag that we normally see in HTML, okay. So img, boom. So this is the image, okay. Okay, link, cool. So first of all, setting up the link. Where do I want this to take me to? Because we now want to navigate to the pages that we previously created right here. So we have 3 pages. Of course, we have our root page, okay, where we say hello world. There you go. Then we have created these 3 more pages like Learn, Next, and React. I'm actually gonna change these to just to keep the syntax a bit similar. Well, you can use it both ways, but because I want to not to confuse you, so we can say that pages are just .jx and components are .jsx, okay? It would work with JSX, but just to keep the same structure, the same logic throughout the app, so you don't really get confused. Okay, app, pages. There you go. Okay, of course, because it's complaining because this is not finished, and I was saying that I wanted to navigate to these pages. So that's what we need to do. So the first one, I think it's React, Next, and Learn. That was the logic, doesn't really matter. So href, there you go. And I want to navigate to React page. This simple. Okay, let's then inside this have our li tag for list item. Again, HTML5 tag. So you need a bit of HTML to understand this basic stuff for the navbars. And inside here, I'm gonna have a bunch of classes, of course. So I want my text to be big, XL. I want my padding horizontally to be 6. My text to be aligned to the center. My vertical padding to be 5, so padding Y 5. We are not done yet. And on other, and this is how you handle other in Tailwind CSS. I want to change my background color to be white. Okay, and I made a typo there. It's important for you to see these typos because you do not get errors when you type the class names wrongly, okay? So it's important for you to double check if a class is not working. Probably you made a typo while writing this class name. And now I'm gonna say on MD, so medium size breakpoint, I want the other to be BG, BG transparent. So I'm basically saying that on a smaller up to MD breakpoint, when I hover on my link, I want to give a white background, but on medium size breakpoint onwards, I want to give a background transparent. Okay, so I don't really show any background. It's just a way around it. And then I'm gonna say other once again. I want to change my text to be black. Text black. Okay. And I have it, and I of course need to write something inside my li tag, and I'm gonna say React.js. Woohoo! Excited to see if this works. Okay, there you go. Bigger screens on other, I get black text, but I don't get any background color. Oh, it's working. So closing and opening, it's working. And then on other, I change colors. Okay, this is just a silly effect, just to illustrate. And as you can see, the little hand is showing anywhere it's clickable. Anywhere inside this rectangle, the user can click. See the difference? Because I set cursor to pointer. Okay, this is important. Many times you see links and buttons that only work if you really press on the icon or right at the center in the word. No, you want to give a big area, especially on mobile, for the user to easily tap and navigate to where he wants to go. So let's give it a try. Oh, of course, we haven't finished. Sorry, silly me. What just happened? Let's think really quickly. See, it's changing. I'm at the root level. There you go, root. Okay. But if I open and I click here, notice here at the browsers tab, it's going to change to React. It does. But I have not instructed to, when I click this button, oh, sorry, not when I click this button, sorry. Let me try to explain you one more time. I'm gonna just close it. Root, and I click here, I get the menu and I get my page. And when I click here, I'm gonna see React in here. So it's taking me to the right place. But when I click here, I want to automatically close this window. I don't want to click here and then click here and then see my page. No, I want to do it like automatically. Okay. So what do we need to do? We need to give like a on-click functionality to this link. On-click functionality, we need to use our variable to see if it's open or closed and basically toggle between true and false. So on-click, okay, oops, horrible, caps lock, on-click. This happens to me frequently. Okay, anonymous arrow function. Once again, I'm going to be calling my function to change, to update my variable, and I'm going to set it to not equal navbar, so I can close this. So let's try this one more time. I'm going to show you the code. Hopefully you can see it all. No, you really can't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it like this, just for a while, to let you copy the code in case you need. I'm going to just do this also, so you can really follow what I'm doing. Okay, now you have a chance to check all the code in case you want to type it out in your text editor. Okay, and now I'm just going to refresh. I click here, I'm at the root, I click and open. This was working already, so nothing new. I don't like this vertical scroll bar. I'm going to remove that in a minute. I click here. Now, as you can see, we are still in the root. I click here, I will see a React page. I will go to the React page and this area will disappear. So basically I will close my navlinks area, my mobile view area. Boom, there you go. Oh, sorry, I clicked in the wrong place. Boom, correct. See? I don't know if you noticed. Root. I'm still at the root. I click here, two things will happen. I will be sent to my React page and this will close automatically. Of course, I don't have to do this manually. So I click, for example, here. Boom, there you go. It is working. Cool. Now that we did this, this is obvious now. And now all we have to do is to repeat the process. I like to give room, so like negative space per se. And now all I'm going to do is to copy paste 2 more times, because we just need to change from React to next, and then to next. In here we said MERN page. MERN is my goal. Hopefully one day I will be able to learn and teach you MERN. That would be awesome. Okay, I think this is done. Okay, let's test this. Shall we? Okay. Oh, I'm forgetting at the root I have not changed index.jx. Let's just remove this. We used this to test if Tailwind was working or not, so we need to get rid of that. I don't like it. So index. What am I going to do? I have my index. Let me think a little bit, okay? This is the add. This is also coming from next, as you can see. This is the add component. This is mainly for, well, not only, but this is important for SEO reasons, but I'm not gonna go over this. I'm just gonna leave it as it is for the moment, okay? Instead of main, I'm just gonna say section. I'm just gonna change this a tiny bit, okay? Section. Oh, there you go. Another mistake. Silly me. Let's just do Control Z, and then I'm gonna say section. Section, it's another HTML5 tag. Okay, this is important. These are semantic tags that let the browsers know what is where. Okay, helps with that. So I'm just gonna remove this, and I'm just gonna give a class name. By the way, if you want to learn a little bit more about basic HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, just let me know in the comments, okay? So width to be full, okay? So I want the full width horizontally for this section. Inside I'm gonna have a div, not a device, gosh, a div. This div, you probably noticed it by now that in normal CSS, in case you know CSS, you will add classes like this. You'll say class, but you cannot do that in React or Next. You always need to say class name. I think it might work some classes, even if you say class, but you will get like warning messages and errors in the console. So while working with React and Next, you always say class name and never just class. Okay, once again, th screen, and you know this class by heart now. Flex, justify center. So I'm repeating a bunch of classes, okay? In a way, it's kind of on purpose. Okay, h1, come on, h1, okay, not really working. Okay, h1, I want to say next JS plus Tailwind CSS Navbar project. So this is our Next.js Tailwind project. Let's style this h1 a bit. I'm gonna say margin horizontally, so on margin horizontally 4. It's not 4 pixels. Margin top 10. Padding Y, so padding vertically 10. Center align my text, right? I want my text to have a font size of 2XL. And then on a medium size breakpoint, I want to enlarge this to the double. So text, you guessed it, 4XL. Okay. And then I want to give it a black color. Oh, text color, silly me. Text black. I now think we are done. There you go. So home page, as you can see here. Oh, we are not done yet. So bigger screens, logo type, then you can navigate to your pages, as you can see easily. Boom. Then go back to your home page by clicking the logo type as usual. The website, well, not really a website, really. It's responsive, so you get this behavior. Okay, cool. Mobile, you can also navigate. When you click something, you go there and you automatically close that menu drop down. So React, burn, next. And just to finish this project, let's just get rid of this. I hate this. So I just found a bit of code online to get rid of that. So I'm just gonna copy paste this. So we need to go to our, this is going to be the only custom CSS that we are going to need in this project. So let's just close up all of these. Let's go to styles, globals, and say boom. This code is basically saying throughout the entire body of my app, remove that scroll bar. And there you go. You can still scroll, but you don't see that horrible vertical scroll bar. And 3001, so I'm just gonna actually copy this and paste it there so we can compare it to. Okay, see? Oh, okay, I made a small change here, that's what you see. Okay, so navbar, so let's just you don't really have to, but this video is quite long already, but I'm gonna just make it a bit longer. Okay, boom. Looks like this is a bit off. I probably gave it a different. Okay. As you can see, all working. Okay guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, it was a long video, but I enjoyed doing this with you. If you have any doubts, just let me know in the comments. If you want the code, just leave me a comment, and I will email you the code. And yeah, keep watching my channel if you think this brings you value. And the point is not to copy paste. The point is to start with this code from me or from somebody else, and then play with it, change classes, break things, fix things, add things, remove things. I don't know, maybe you want to add a footer. Why not? Just go ahead and create a footer component and call it in your app.js file. So you have it everywhere in all of your pages in one go. This was it. See you next time. Take care.